Hello, good evening, and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation podcast live with me, your host, Owen James, the channel that brings you your team every single day, guys. It is Sunday night. It is still the international break, and we are still yawning away in this international break, praying for some real football, praying for the real football to return. Would be nice, wouldn't it, to get some proper football back on the agenda. Obviously, Rangers don't play till next week, which is not great, is it? Let's face it. I know Scotland play tomorrow night against away in Poland. Obviously, that'll be an interesting game if you follow the Scottish national team. If you've got no interest in the Scottish national team, it won't be the slightest bit interesting for you at all. But yeah, Rangers don't play till next Saturday, the 23rd of November yes, guess what? It's 3 o'clock. Oh my God, there's a game at 3 o'clock. Quick, I think I might faint. I might pass out. Andrew, I'm all right, mate. Just one of those, isn't it? It's been a pretty tough couple of weeks. Anyway, look, we're going to talk all things Rangers tonight. It's your chance to have your say as well on what the present state of the club, on what's going on with the club, on and all the latest stories that are coming out of the club. And I think we'll talk a bit of Philippe, Clement. We'll talk a bit of Union Bears. We'll talk a bit of the board. We'll talk a bit of everything, obviously, that's going on at the club at this moment in time. And, what is the future for this club? Where do we go? I think that's what we all want to know is what does the future hold for Rangers? Is there any future under the present board? Can we see any positives? Can we see any kind of, forward momentum? Can we see light at the end of the tunnel, or is that tunnel now just a very, very dark hole? What does that look like at this moment in time? So we're going to have a little chat about that. We're also going to talk a little bit tonight as well, obviously, about what's upcoming for the club as well. I mean, look, where do we start? I mean, I think we've got to start with looking at the season so far. And I think, look, we're in the second international break. And I think, we can all agree that, look, where we are at this moment in time is far from ideal. You look at the league table, you look at how the table currently sits, and it's not great, is it? It's not the best reading in the world. Fantastic. Great result for Rangers women today. 3-2, cracking goal from Chelsea Cornet. Well, fantastic, Mr. Fox. At least one Rangers team are turning up on a regular basis and doing a job in the league and obviously in the cups as well. So well done to Rangers ladies on their 3-2 victory. So this is, when we look at the league table, how it currently sits, and I mean, look, it's not ideal, is it? I mean, I think if you'd said to any Rangers fan, at the start of the season, on the 17th of November, you'll be sitting looking at a league table and you'll be 9 points behind Celtic, we'd be disappointed. If you then said that, oh, guess what, you'll also be 9 points behind Aberdeen, I think there'd also be a lot of disappointment there. But I mean, respect to Aberdeen, they've started the season very well. Of course they have. Our record this season is not great, is it? I mean, played 11, we've won 7, we've drawn 1, we've lost 3. We've scored 16 goals, we've conceded 8 goals. Our goal difference is only 8. Celtic's goal difference is 20 better than ours. Aberdeen's 6 better than ours. It's not brilliant, is it? I mean, and 16 goals. I mean, you've got what? Motherwell have scored less than us. Kilmarnock have scored less than us. Ross County have scored less than us. Hearts and Hibs. But if you look at the top 4, for example, no one scored less than us in the top 4. So that's pretty poor, isn't it? Our recent form as well: 1 lost, 1 lost, 1. I mean, again, that's not particularly special, is it? It's not brilliant at all. Hello, Owen. Hi, Curry. How you doing, buddy? Exactly, Owen. And we're talking needing to win every single game to the end of the season. I mean, that's where we're up to, isn't it? A little bit. That's how it's kind of looking at this moment in time. We need to kind of look at it in terms of, yes, we can't afford to slip up and lose any more points. And I think to be sitting here in November and already starting to be talking, like that in terms of, what, you can't afford to lose any more games. You cannot realistically afford to fall back any further is just absolutely shocking. It really is. Let's have a look at the present. Let's have a look at the next few fixtures upcoming, guys. We'll look at what's upcoming for Rangers over the next few weeks. This is where we stand at this moment in time. So we've got the game on Saturday upcoming against Dundee United at home at Ibrox. Dundee, sitting 4th in the table, will fancy their chances of coming to Ibrox and getting something. I mean, if I was Jim Goodwin, I'd have sat and I'd watched that Hearts game, and I'll be honest with you, reflecting back on the Hearts game now, you've got to say Hearts were unlucky not to get something. They really were. I honestly thought Hearts deserved a point in that game. I really do. Rangers were so poor in that game. Janet says, hi, we're good to see you. Yeah, good to see you, Janet. How are you doing? Andrew Leach says, getting to the point, I'm looking to get women's football more. Andrew, mate, it must be desperate if that's the case. So then we've got Nice v Rangers away in the Europa League. I think, that again, it is a game that we've realistically got to kind of say, probably going to lose. It's not a game that we realistically are going to win. Nice have got a very good squad. They're a decent team. But you know what? Weirder things have happened. They really have. I think our European form doesn't add up at all. You look at our European form and you don't see it. You don't see where this is coming from, and the performances. We can touch on that. Then we've got St Johnstone away. Again, that's a win. But Nice are currently sixth in League One. We've got then obviously Killie at home, Ross County away, Tottenham at home, Celtic in the cup final, and then it's Dundee at home. So that's the next 8 games. And as was said by Curry there, we're almost looking at those fixtures. We cannot afford to lose any of the points in those upcoming fixtures. But I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to say something now that I honestly cannot believe I am going to say. I genuinely sit here and I'm absolutely stunned that this is going to come out of my mouth. But there's games where I don't want to reflect particularly on Europa League at this moment in time. But shout out to Rangers ladies, great game. Absolutely fantastic today. They did brilliant, Janet. Well done. Spurs will tear us a new hole, says Curry. I think it depends, mate. Which Spurs turn up. If it's the Spurs that beat Aston Villa 4-1 or 3-1, whatever they beat them, or it's the Spurs that lost home to Ipswich, I think it does depend. That is obviously, does depend on that. But you look at the domestic form for a minute, and we've got Dundee United at home, and again, I'm going to sit and I'm going to say something that I genuinely cannot believe that I'm going to say. I'm not confident. I'm genuinely not confident going to that game that 3 points are guaranteed. And Killie at home, again, I'm not confident that 3 points are guaranteed. St Johnstone away, I'm pretty confident we can go to St Johnstone and get a result because St Johnstone are particularly poor at the moment. So I think we'll probably get a win there. But Ross County away. Last season you'd have said, hey, you know what, that's an easy game for Rangers. Ross County are awful. And also this season, I suppose we put them away, didn't we? Easily, we scored 6 goals against them. A result that Clement keeps on harking back to constantly. But I'll be honest with you, looking at those home league games, apart from the Dundee game, I'm not really confident going into any of them. I genuinely am not. I'm concerned about Killie coming to Ibrox. I'm concerned about Dundee United coming to Ibrox. I'm genuinely concerned about all those games. And I'll be honest with you, you look beyond that. It's St Mirren away, Motherwell away, and then it's the next Old Firm game. Realistically in the league, we cannot afford to drop any more points. We cannot be going to that Old Firm game any more than 9 points behind them. And a defeat in that is just unthinkable. That would put us, 12 points behind them? And I'll be honest with you, at this moment in time, I actually cannot see Celtic dropping points. I genuinely can't. Bo Fawcett says, I love his optimism here, says we might come back and play well. But I'm going to ask you a question, mate. What gives you optimism that that's going to happen? I would love to know. Let me know. It's not even enjoyable to watch right now. Let's be honest. It's minging football. That's the other thing, isn't it? You're not going to games or sitting down to watch games on the telly and going, oh, great, Rangers are playing today. We're going to see some lovely football. It is a worry, isn't it? Janet says every game from now on is going to have us on the edge of our seats. Why are Rangers the way Rangers? Mate, every game is going to have you on heart attack territory, isn't it? Every single game is going to be heart attack city central. It really is, and it's a worry. It's a real worry, isn't it? Look, I've talked about this often enough. The players, yes, have a large part to play in what is going on at the club. You watch the European performances, and you then see those same players that go in and rip it up against FCSB, that rip it up against Malmo, that play well away in Greece, and then you see them, and you watch them play against the likes of Kilmarnock and Aberdeen, and you just think, How can that be the same team? How can they be the same players? You know, it's worrying. How there's that massive difference between the two competitions, isn't it? Both says, with a bit of luck, players are back from injury and we can see our attacking players in their correct positions. Then January around the corner, fingers crossed, the club sign the correct people. I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't think Rangers will sign anyone in January. And if they do, it's going to be a loan or a free, because I genuinely don't think we've got the money to go and sign any players. I don't think there's a lot of money out there. I don't think there's a lot of money to spend for Clement and Coppen. And I think the other problem, obviously, at the moment is we have no chairman, we have no CEO, we have no director of football. So you've kind of got to look at it in terms of what's going on there with that one. How does that work? How do they come up with a transfer strategy and know what's going to happen with that said transfer strategy? Because there's no one directing it. Is it solely going to be down to Niels Coppen and to Philippe Clement? I don't know. We'll absolutely 100% sign people, but maybe short-term loans. I mean, I'll be honest with you, mate. That's all I can see is loans. Absolutely, that's all I can see is loans. I cannot see us spending any money because we've just made obviously that loss. We're £19 million in debt. I mean, I don't know how we can actually spend any money. So, that's an interesting one. Here's a good question. Here's a great question for you. Mr. Fox says, I don't think Czerny will be hanging around after his loan period is up. Right, guys, serious question. Do you think that Václav Czerny is, well, do you think he will sign for Rangers? Or, better question, do you think he wants to sign for Rangers? There's the question for you. So the question is, I'm going to put a poll up in a minute, guys. We'll get a poll going in a minute about Czerny. But yeah, Janet says, agreed, no money for the window in January. Maybe a couple of bargain pre-contracts. I can see us getting Shankland for 1.5 million. Mate, I'm going to tell you this now, mate. There is no interest in Lawrence Shankland from Rangers. Okay, I'll wager money on that. There is absolutely no interest from Rangers in Lawrence Shankland. He will not. He's not coming to Rangers. Okay, if he moves anywhere, it'll be south of the border. I reckon. I honestly reckon he'll go south of the border, if anywhere. I cannot see him actually signing for Rangers, mate. If I'm being very, very honest with you on that one. But yeah, I think when it comes to January, it'll be loans. It'll be perhaps some frees. Czerny probably doesn't want to sign full time, but no fans would be disappointed if he didn't either. In my opinion, Shankland on a free is possible. Mate, I don't even think he signs on a free. I genuinely don't think he even signs on a free. Lawrence Shankland, I'm prepared to put my neck on the line here, will not sign for Rangers. Okay, I'm almost guaranteeing you that one. He will not sign for Rangers. Okay, I don't generally think there's any. I don't think the club are interested. If they had been interested in him, I think they would have got in for him at some point. But I can't see that happening at all. Let's have a look. Here's the poll. I'll put a poll up now. Do Rangers sign? Actually, let's rephrase that. Excuse me. Will Rangers sign Czerny on a permanent deal? Okay. That's the question. I'll put that up in a minute for you to vote on. It's going to go up in the live chat any minute now. It is up. Okay, the question is up. Question is, will Rangers sign Czerny on a permanent deal? Guys, get your vote in on that one. Imagine getting Amad Diallo on loan again. Lol, if only. Now, yeah, I mean, that would be a good move. He's a quality player, but there's no way he is coming. Janet says, Rangers, no chance we can afford that boy. Mate, I'll be honest with you. Lennon Miller, you've got no chance of signing Lennon Miller. Zero chance of signing Lennon Miller. I think he's out of our bounds at this moment in time. I think they'll be looking for somewhere in the excess of £4 million. I don't think we've got £4 million to sign. I'll be honest with you, I don't think that's possible. Also, I think if he goes anywhere in Scotland, he is going to go to. I think he'll go to Celtic. I really do. I think he'll go to Celtic. But I do believe, I'll honestly, most of the noise I'm hearing about Lennon Miller. He's going to head south of the border. He will join an English club. That's what I'm hearing. More likely to head south of the border than to stay in Scotland. If I'm being honest with you on that one, Janet. So we've got Bob here says comes back in and says maybe not, but I think he's Hearts captain and he'd be decent in the changing room. Would be our third Scottish international. Mate, look, I'm not saying that I wouldn't have Lennon Miller at Rangers. I'm not saying that for a minute. I'm not doubting that Lawrence Shankland is a very good footballer. He is a very good footballer. You don't score the number of goals he scores on a consistent basis over the past few seasons. Yes, he's not doing this season, struggling Hearts team, but overall, it is what it is. But I, I, I just can't see him being signed. I don't think there's any interest. I genuinely don't think Clement is interested in Shankland. I don't think Coppen is interested in Shankland. He doesn't fit the type of player we're going for at the moment. I can't see him coming, if I'm being honest with you, at all. I think if he signs Scottish players, it's going to be young, up and coming Scottish players, like in the Conor Barron mould. That's the sort of Scottish players they're going to be going for, I believe. Let Celtic waste their money on Lennon and his career, says Bobby Finley. We couldn't even for Kenny Miller just now, lol, Janet. Unless we get some serious backing financial. I think that's the big thing. We do need some extra financial investment from outside. And, there's been an awful lot of rumour and counter rumour, and Dave seemingly dismissed that rumour. So it'd be Rangers not to sign Shankland, but spend 40% on a random from the country. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Mr. Fawcett. It would be absolutely Rangers all over. Look, Philippe Clement for me is in a really, really bad position at the moment in time. He really is. I mean, he's almost dead man walking. He really, it's going to take a massive, massive change. Yeah, Curry, come on, shit like Blessers. It's almost going to take, a historic turnaround for 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 Clement to remain in place. I really do believe that. It's going to take basically turning it around in the league. It's going to take us turning it around in competition. It's going to take us beating Celtic on a consistent basis and start to produce a decent style of football. Although I'll be honest with you, if we won every game between now and the end of the season 1-0 playing shit football, I wouldn't care less. I wouldn't win every game because that means you probably win the league. But I mean, realistically, is that going to happen? Probably not. Probably not. Uh, you know, he Armani is a strange character. He really is. He's a very, very strange character. I think Clement's big. Clement is not everyone's cup of tea, but I can tell you something. He did not sign up for this shit show. He certainly was this nightmare. I don't think he would have signed up. Knowing what he was walking into, I think there's no way he signs up for this. Absolutely. Andrew Leach says, I don't think he will, but like him too. I mean, Hansen says Clement is absolutely useless. I heard Clement put the Euro Millions on this Tuesday and feels. I mean, I think the problem with Philippe Clement for me is his stubbornness. He is so stubborn. I mean, if you go back to to when he first came into the job, he was asked about what formation do you like to play, Philippe? What's your go-to? How do you like to line your team up? And he said, "Oh, it depends on the team we play. We change the formation. We suit different game situations to suit different teams, play in certain ways to overcome certain teams." And that was what he actually said. He actually said that he didn't have a favoured formation, that he'd adapt his formation. So I don't know what the problem is there. I really don't, know why he is, so struggling with this formation. Now, he was then asked again about this formation. He was asked about the 4-2-3-1 formation. He was asked, would you consider changing your formation? Would you consider changing your shape? And his answer was just absolutely left me just kind of bewildered at what he said. He said in the presser, he said he couldn't change formation now because it would confuse the players and break up, apparently. Kind of bewildered there. Weird. I don't know why that's happening, guys. Apologies. Just a minute. I will try and sort. Okay, so, mate, Corey, I don't think there's any chance of that, mate. Can't have that. Okay, so look, I think possibly. I mean, he comes out and he says that he talks about not having enough training sessions, not having the time to change shape, the time to adapt formations, and I just think that smacks of really bad coaching, really poor coaching. Um, I mean, I heard John Terry way back when Jose Mourinho was Chelsea manager, and he was asked about, you know, when players get sent off, when teams change the way they play against you, do you feel comfortable to change your shape, change your formation? And he says it's something the manager drills every day in training. We practice a player with playing 10 men. We practice going up against different formations. We practice in different formations. Well, I'm shocked. I'm amazed. Why is it that other teams seem to be able to adapt and change formations at whim when they need to? Yet we don't seem to be able to do that. And Clement comes out with a comment like that, contradicting what he said. And part of my problem with Philippe Clement and why I've kind of developed this issue with Clement is the fact that he constantly contradicts himself in what he says. He comes out and he says one thing, and then a week or so later he'll change his tune, and 6 months down the line he's saying something completely different again, and he's making himself look really silly, really silly. Um, Again, for me, you may have a situation where 4-2-3-1 is your favourite formation, but if you haven't got the players to play 4-2-3-1, you change your shape, you adapt your shape to actually, to suit the players you've got. That's just common sense, isn't it? That's just what good managers do. And Clement, he showed himself to be way too stubborn, way too, just intransigent, have an inability to be tactically flexible. And teams have figured him out. Teams have figured him out, and he needs to have more tactical flexibility. But the problem is that that isn't going to come. And why is that not going to come? Well, it's not going to come because he's kind of given himself away on that. He really has. He's kind of, allowed himself to kind of, you know, he's kind of backed himself into a corner. And he's done this before. He did this at Monaco. He did this at Monaco. He really did. Corey says, piss poor excuses. When I watch Rangers, do not see anything new. We don't. There's nothing new. Over 12 months of PC coaching, he's got us running with one system and we're doing it poorly. Philippe says, agreed. I play 4-2-3-1 in top 11. I've been playing that for 10 years now. Lol, mate, get you in the team. Curry mentions 4-4-2 here, 4-4-2 formation. Look, hi Caleb, how you doing, buddy? Does this work? Would this work in terms of a formation? So you've got Butland in goal. You've got a back four of Sterling, Suter, Balogun, and Hjefte. Midfield four of Hjefte, Tierney on the right, Raskin and Barron in the middle, Bayrami on the left, Danilo and Dessers up top. Now, Danilo doesn't have to play up alongside Dessers. He's off Dessers. Danilo has shown himself to be quite comfortable at actually playing as a 10 or as a support striker. He's done it at Feyenoord, he's done it at Ajax, he's done it in a number of different places. So look, it's possible. It's possible. Bobby Finley says PC can only play 4-2-3-1, changed time to 4-3-3 with Dio instead of Lawrence. Even saw 2-4. If you're playing one up front, you need somebody formidable. Bobby, I think it's natural when a team defends, they defend in different shape, the way that attacks them, or players been out of position, etc., etc. But I think what we're talking about, mate, kind of Clement going with the formation, kind of players that he's got, and using the players that he's actually got to actually kind of adapt to play a style that's effective in Scotland. That's what we're kind of trying to get out here, mate. I think that's definitely the way we're going with this. I've just dropped my glasses. I can't see a thing. So I can't read your comments. this is a great point. This is a great point. If you're playing one or two, yeah, you do, and that's part of the problem. Cyril Dessers is just simply not good enough. He simply is not good enough. He really isn't. I mean, he just look. It depends. It seems to depend on us having a striker who can score goals on a regular basis, a striker that can hold the ball up, a striker that can make runs, pull players out of position, a striker that is strong, a striker that can trying to be the main man. Now, Dessers for me is too weak. Falls over too much. He's offside too much. He can't hold the ball up. You can't even talk about Dessers. I mean, that for me is part of where the system falls down. If you're playing 4-2-3-1, and you're playing it the way that Clement plays it, you almost need someone to hold the ball up so that those three players who are behind him can get past him and cause problems. He holds up, plays it out to the left, plays it out to the right, drops it into the number 10, turns, goes, and then becomes a target in the middle. But we can't do that because the ball bounces off him 9 times out of 10. It doesn't stick with Dessers. And I know that's unpopular with some of the Rangers fans. I mean, we've still got Rangers fans that think Cyril Dessers is a good player. I'd say this though. If you think Cyril Dessers is a good player, give your head a wobble. He's certainly not a good player. Fantastic, Mr. Fox says if Tav could, he would play himself in every position. Probably would, mate. Get Kevin Thompson in to replace Alex Ray. And you've got to kind of question what Alex Ray does, Graham. Really, you have. Even someone playing off Dessers, I mean, trying. This is the thing. Try and that's part of the issue with him. He's tactically inflexible. He's stubborn. And I think if you talk to Monaco fans, we see that, don't we? Joshua showed off different movement between Danilo and Dessers. Big difference. Yeah, there is a huge difference between Danilo and Dessers. Massive difference between Danilo and Dessers. Danilo just provides so much more. Doesn't he? He provides movement. He provides just different type of play. He provides. For me, he fits into kind of using 4-2-3-1 the way that some of the English teams do, don't they? I mean, the way that Liverpool do, the way that Arsenal do, the way that City do to some extent, where the striker is not stood up top. He moves around, provides movement, he pulls players out of position, and by pulling the players out of position, he makes space for the midfielders to run in. And something that's so important, I think, in this kind of day and age, in a league where we play against teams where they put 11 men behind the ball, including the goalkeeper, and they just sit and come out, they foul, they try and stop us from playing, they just try and cause as much football as possible. And we seem to not have the ability to overcome that or work around that. I don't know why. But, we don't seem to have a tactic. And I think, part of it is we can't get out. Genuinely, we can't get out because Dessers won't hold the ball. He's not good enough to hold the ball. He's not a good player. He really isn't. Now, the issues we've got, obviously, and Graham says here, I would play Danilo and Igman up front. The problem is there that, I'll be honest with you, Igman looks lost. He looks lost. He really does look lost at the moment. He looks like he doesn't really know what he's doing, where he's going with it, anything like that. So I'll be honest with you. Igman to me looks lost at the moment. He really does look lost at this moment in time. Bobby Finley says, if a fit Danilo will hopefully get the front three interchangeable. Hopefully, I mean, that's a good point, Bobby. I think, playing with that interchangeable front three will be really good for Rangers. And I think will enable us to be more challenging to the opposition. It really will. For me, Danilo is still to impress me. Not his fault, though. Sorry, I get that. Feel as if Danilo is the new roof. Yeah, I mean, that's possible, isn't it? That's possible. Guys, please obviously smash that like and obviously subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, guys. Thank you for watching if you've got this far. Right, look, I mean, where do we go from here? Fantastic, Mr. Fox says Chelsea corner. Her goal was absolutely sensational. How she controls that ball, twisting and turning. What a strike. Better than Dessers. Igman is not getting a fair crack at it. Another one of the younger squad members currently stunting their development. He needs games. He does, but I don't think he can start. I think with Igman, you've got to kind of bring him in, play him for half an hour, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, play him in the B team, get him used to this form of football. I think at times he looks lost in this formation. He looks like he doesn't know where he's supposed to go, how he's supposed to play it, what he's supposed to do. He looks lost. And I think that is down to a couple of things. Yes, he's not playing enough games yet, but I think coming off the bench is a lot better for him at this point in time. Starting Danilo and bringing Igman off the bench and not even having Dessers anywhere near the starting 11 or the substitution 11 would be really good. But I think, Igman for me is a player that needs to get more used to the Scottish game, needs to adapt to British football. I mean, I think he does struggle. He is kind of struggling in this formation as well in terms of he doesn't seem to know what he's doing a lot of the time. He really doesn't. I'll try and catch that as soon as I can, Mr. Fox. I will try and catch that goal up as soon as I can. But yeah, Igman for me looks a little lost at the moment. So, I mean, I think we need to use him for 20 minutes here, half an hour here, get him into the game. And Clement is responsible for developing that player. And people talk about the trading model as well. They talk about bringing players through. And part of the trading model is the coach developing players and making players better. Well, Clement isn't doing that at the moment. And that's quite a concern. What else have we got? Fantastic Mr. Fox says, if you haven't seen a goal, check out. We'll do, yeah. Igman looks nervous just now, says Janet. Bob Fawcett says, I'd start Igman every game. I mean, that's an interesting call, mate. I mean, I'd start, if he's fit, I'd start Danilo. I really would. And I tell you what I'd like to see against Dundee United, and I really would like to see this against Dundee United, is us 60 minutes, Danilo to start, give him 60 minutes, get some match time under his belt, get him out there, get him playing for 60 minutes, then take him off and give Igman the last half an hour. Not Dessers. I don't want to see Dessers anywhere near this team. I mean, preferably, I don't really want to see Dessers anywhere near Rangers ever again. But unfortunately, we're stuck with Cyril Dessers. The guy is absolute shite. But I mean, that's what I'd like to see. Get Danilo in there, get him match fit by playing him for 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, whatever. And then the 30 minutes, 20 minutes you've got left, bring Igman on, get him to introduce himself. I think as well, Igman will benefit from replacing Danilo rather than Dessers, because Danilo is a completely different forward to Cyril Dessers. And I think the way we'd have to play to get the best out of Danilo would suit the way we'd have to play to get the best out of Igman, if you kind of get what I'm saying here. Pico, he says, I honestly think players are hit with reality when they wear the jersey. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Rangers players, isn't there, mate? He's just a kid. He's better than Dessers and Danilo, says Bob Fawcett. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my worry there is what has he done, though, to show that? I mean, he's had that one decent turn against Dundee United. I think he had that one shot as well. That's pretty much it, isn't it? How many players we've seen bigging up themselves and shitting it? Absolutely, Curry, a lot. They all need to get in touch with the Scottish football. The players are there, says Graham. Spot on, Owen. We need to sell Dessers in January. We absolutely do need to sell Dessers. We need to get rid of Cyril Dessers as soon as is humanly possible. The guy is a joke. I mean, he really is an absolute joke. And I'll be honest with you, if we're relying on Cyril Dessers as our first choice centre forward, then we're never going to win anything. We're never, ever going to win anything. That it just is not going to happen. It really isn't, because the guy isn't good enough. The guy is absolutely not good enough in the slightest. So, yeah, I agree with that point there. It's a good point. What else have I got here? Bob says here, give him 10 games. I guarantee he gives the team more than Dessers and Danilo. Fair enough. January is madness for Jers, says RFC 1872. Janet says, oh, massive. Sorry, RFC 72. Massive. Heard Hadji might be going again. Heard anything? I haven't, but I have heard that there is perhaps, a situation where Clement doesn't want Hadji and is kind of going to try and get rid of him in January. I have heard something to that sort of contrary. Guys, please make sure you vote in our poll that's currently running. So the poll says, will Rangers sign Cherny on a permanent deal? 26% of you say yes. 74% of you say no. Interesting. Fantastic Mr. Fox says, Dessers is too nice for Rangers. We need a striker. He will bully defenders. yeah, we do need someone who's going to be a bit more physical, maybe. So, look, I'll be honest with you. I don't think we have a striker at the club who is the answer at the moment. I think we need to go and get a striker, but the problem is strikers cost money. We haven't got money. So that is the worry at the moment. So we're kind of stuck with making the best of what we've got and trying to get the best out of what we've got. And I think that's where we're up to with that one. And obviously a lot of this falls at the board. We've seen the banners now. There's been so many different banners out there. Congratulations to DL2, who's been a member for 10 months. Yeah, remember, you can become a member of the channel for only 99p, less than a cup of coffee. Guys, all you've got to do is go and smash the join button. Evening, DL2. How you doing, buddy? Welcome, member for 10 months. Well done, Mr. DL2. Glad that, that you've been a member for that long. The banners we've seen a lot of banners, haven't we? We've seen ineptitude is destroying our club. Time for fans to face change was one that the Union Bears put up. Another one said, no chairman, no CEO, no director of football operations, no clue, one scapegoat was the comment that was made. And then this one, the mismanagement of Rangers has to stop and stop now. I mean, I think that it's quite clear, isn't it? The Union Bears are not happy. The fans are not happy with how the club is being run. And I think the problem is that the way the club's been run is putting people off coming here. It really is. And it'll put off players. It'll put off CEOs, chairmen, investors. It really will. Hello, troops. Hey, Rangers, great again. Even if we could sell Dessers and get a good striker on loan to the end of the season and buy Lennon. Agreed. Dessers too nice and laid back. DL2 says can't stand Tav and Dessers. 1872, happy 1 year anniversary, mate. You've been a member for 1 month. Thank you so much for that. Bob has a team for us: Butland, Sterling, Balogun, Suter, Hiefte, Barron, Hadji, Bairami, Cortez, Igman, and Cherney. That's a very attacking formation there, Mr. Fawcett. That's a very attacking formation. I mean, the board have a lot to answer for. Don't get me wrong. The board are running this club into the ground and making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And they need to go. They genuinely do need to go. But for the board to go, we need someone to come in and buy the club out. That's what we need, realistically, is someone to come in, put in an offer, and take over the club. That's how it needs to be. But the problem is that, like I said, does anybody want to get investing in Scottish football? There's not a great deal of money in Scottish football at this moment in time. If you compare English clubs, even in the EFL Championship, to investors, they are slightly more attractive options for the amount of money you get from TV deals, sponsorship deals, in revenue stream deals. You just seem to get a lot more money. So, it's a difficult one, isn't it? We need attacking team urgent. I agree. We need some attacking something. We need to get after teams. We really do. Good team, bro, but it'll never happen. DL2 says, I hate Clement. I've lost faith in him. It was a very stupid idea giving him an extension. I agree. On a positive note, I've mastered Greek gyros. There you go. Congratulations, mate. Look, I'll be honest with you. Look, I talked about the board in the last 2 videos. I don't want to dwell too much on that, right? The board are incompetent. The board are useless. The board are hopeless. Curry says, Clement is starting like the Biden of football. What, completely lost and clueless? Probably get lost, mate, coming off the podium next time he goes to do a press conference. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I can't remember who made the comment now about the players. We've got some good players in this team. I mean, I don't think that that we've ever got a situation where we haven't. Not all of our players are as bad as people make them out to be. Okay, I mean, don't get me wrong. We have got some bad players. Don't get me wrong. We have got some bad players that are not great footballers, that are not good at all. But you look at the team and you look at what we've got, and I honestly think there are reasons to be optimistic. There are reasons to look at this team and actually go, yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. They're not as bad as we're at times as we're kind of led to believe. I mean, if I kind of think about these players here, I mean, I think, you look at that and you've got some decent players there. Butland is a good keeper. Sterling is a top defender. And I just wish that Clement would actually use him in his best position, which is right back. Barron and Raskin look really good in central midfield. Bayrami looks good, in flashes. I think we'd get a lot more out of Bayrami by playing him in a 10 role, but I can't see that happening. Tierney, is looking better now. And I'll tell you when Tierney looks better. Tierney looks better when he hasn't got Tav behind him. When he's got Sterling or Cass behind him, then he hasn't got to cover as much. I think that's when he looks better. Hadji, I think, is a top player. I know some of you out there don't rate Yanis Hadji, but go back and watch the Euros. He was one of their better players in the Euros. Guys, let's not argue over the American election in the live chat. If Rodgers had our players, would he do better than Clement? Stuart, yes. Yes, he would. Look, I'm not a Brendan. I don't like Brendan Rodgers. Okay, I'm not a fan of Brendan Rodgers. Okay, I know things about Brendan Rodgers. As a manager, as a coach, I know what he's like, and I know things about him. Okay, but I'll be honest with you, he's a better coach than Philippe Clement, and I honestly believe if you gave Rangers to Brendan Rodgers, they would be doing an awful lot better than they are currently doing, mate. I'm almost willing to guarantee that one. CJNI says, when the international football is on, it always amazes me that they don't need 3 months together to gel. I mean, that's another one. You look at international teams. But I mean, making it more realistic, CJNI, this is the example I've used loads, is Aberdeen. Look at how Jimmy Thielen has got a shape, a formation, a tactics approach that actually works. I mean, that's just amazing for me, isn't it? It really is. That he's got that already. Yet Clement's been here 12 months and nothing seems to have gelled, nothing seems to have stuck, and nothing seems to be working. Is that down to what's that down to? Well, to me, as someone who's got a little bit of football knowledge, it's down to coaching, it's down to preparation, it's down to how he sorts his team out. It really is. So, look, that's Clement, isn't it? That's all on Clement. That's not on the players. That's on Clement. It really is. So, look, I'll be honest with you. I think he going forward, I think he'll end the season. I don't think he'll go anywhere. I think we're stuck with him. But I think that he may well go at season's end. If we finish third, if we don't do well, if we still playing the same shit football, if we lose more games, if we don't beat Celtic, although I think if we lose the next 2 games to Celtic and he's still in place after the cup final, and then we go and lose in January to them, I think the pressure will be too much, really. Big Suter plays out of his skin for Scotland, but still makes mistakes at the back for the Gers, in my opinion, says Janet. Always helps when he played in their positions and strengths, correct. Spending on Igman could have got us a striker, correct, Bobby. Very great point. Suter, again, outstanding. What a fucking player he's become. So glad we have him. I like Suter. I've always been a John Suter fan. Really, genuinely have. Think of the amount of money we waste on Danilo, Cortez, Yilmaz, Matondo for what they give you. I mean, good point. I mean, Matondo seems to be out injured a lot. Yilmaz is out injured a lot. Cortez is out injured a lot. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you that one. I mean, Danilo, I think he's been unlucky with injuries to some degree. So, I mean, I'm prepared to kind of suspend judgment on him a little bit so we can see what we've got. But I think, you're right. We have made some really poor decisions. That's on ex-managers. That's on ex-directors of football. That's on the board for signing off on those deals. So, look, I think we have got good players. We have got some good players. Do I think we've got enough good players? No. Do I think we still need to strengthen in lots of areas? Yeah, I do. I do think we need to strengthen in lots of areas. I'm not saying we don't. But what I am saying is that we've got enough decent players to compete in Scotland. I think that's the thing we've got to remember. Forget Europe for a minute. Forget the whole European situation. I mean, if you concentrate just on Scotland, okay, then we've got enough players to compete in Scotland. I won't have it that we haven't got enough players to compete in Scotland. I honestly believe we have got enough players to compete in Scotland. We genuinely have. I mean, look, with Cortez out injured, obviously, and him allegedly on his way back, I mean, I would personally go with a 4-3-3. And I think if we went with this 4-3-3, I think we'd have more than enough to compete in Scotland and to challenge Celtic. So if we went with Butland at the back in goal, obviously Sterling at right back, Suter and Casanwejo and Hiefte. For me, there you've got Suter as the leader of that back four. You've got three other young, energetic, strong, fast, quick players who can get around the park, who can back up the players in front of them, who can keep it solid, who are strong, and could actually, make a difference. Then you go with three in midfield. You go with Barron and Raskin either side of Yanis Hadji. Get Hadji on the ball. Let him use his passing skills. Let him use his ability to pick a pass, to play it, to thread a ball through, to spread, to change play, to change the game. I think, that for me would work. Now, Tierney goes right, Danilo down the middle and Bayrami on the left. Go 4-3-3. Push it on a little bit. Try something different. I believe that team is capable of competing with Celtic. I really do. I mean, if you compare Celtic for a minute with those 11 players, right? And Celtic play 4-3-3, right? So Celtic play a 4-3-3, right? So you've got Jack Butland or Kasper Schmeichel. Well, I'll tell you something. I am not taking Kasper Schmeichel over Jack Butland. Okay, so for me, Butland is better. Okay, then you've got who you've got, Alistair Johnson or Dujon Sterling. I think Dujon Sterling's a better player than Alistair Johnson at right back. Suter and Casanwejo. I mean, realistically, Suter, Casanwejo, Carter Vickers is probably a better player than Casanwejo. So you probably would say take Carter Vickers. But so far, I mean, Suter against Scales, and who I'm taking Suter every single day of the week and twice on a Sunday. So I'll be honest with you. So out of that actually, let's go to left back. They've got Greg Taylor. We've got Hiefte. Hiefte is as good, if not better, than Hiefte. So out of the back five, I'm taking four of our players over the Celtic player. Okay. I'm not taking them as they're being played at the moment or as they're performing at the moment. I'm taking them based on how I know they can play when they play well. Okay. So I'm taking Sterling over Johnston. I'm taking Suter over Scales. I'm taking Carter Vickers, over Casanwejo, but I'm taking Hiefte over Taylor. Right, our midfield three on my sheet is Barron, Hadji, and Raskin. They've got Hatate, McGregor, and Engels. Okay, the only one I'm swapping out there is I would swap Hadji for McGregor. I hate Callum McGregor, but I think he's a better player. Okay, so but I'm not taking Hatate or Engels over Barron and Raskin. Sorry, just not. Okay. Right. Up front, Tierney, Danilo, and Bayrami. Right. I'm not taking Ida or Kyogo over Danilo. I'd take Kuhn over Tierney. I would take Nicholas Kuhn over Tierney. I wouldn't take Dyes and Maida over Bayrami though. Genuinely wouldn't. So look, of that Celtic team that I've just named to you, I'm taking three of their players. Three players. That's it. Three. There's only three of our players that I would swap for three of their players. Okay. I would not take any other their players over our players based on how they can play. Not on how they're playing at the moment. Okay. Pico, he says, give a chance to let our youngsters shine. Yeah, I agree. Let's see Bailey Rice. Let's see Cole McKinnon. Let's see Zach Lovelace. I'd love to see them. If Casa signs, he's the future partner to Suter. Good shout, Bobby. Great lineup. No Tav in sight. Yeah, I mean, you know me. I'm not going to put Tav in. Tav shit. Would it work, Owen, if Clement liked Hadji, but he doesn't? I think that's part of the issue, to be honest with you. None of our players would get in their team. Stuart Allison, on present form, yes. On present form, I agree with you. The way they're playing at the moment, I agree with you. But Stuart, would you put Dyson Maida as a better player than Nadim Bayrami? Would you put Hatate as a better player than Connor Barron? Would you put Liam Scales as a better player than John Suter? Would you put Kasper Schmeichel as a better goalkeeper than Jack Butland? Serious questions. Should sell Hadji and all look like a good few. Hadji should be a starter, but Clement obviously doesn't like him. I think that's part of the problem. I honestly think that's part of the problem. Hadji, good player, no pace at all, which you need in the old firm game, no aggression either. Fair enough. Follow the Money says he wants Knutson on Muscat. I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I've got a conspiracy theory for you in a minute. I'll get to it in a minute. Remember, Walter did say McInnes for the Gers job one day. I wouldn't be against it, says RFC 1872. Just wish they'd turn up, Owen. And yeah, look, so do I, mate. So do I. I'll be honest with you, and I'm trying to be optimistic here. I honestly believe that starting 11 that I showed you a few minutes ago, I think he's good enough to compete with Celtic. I really genuinely do. If they all play to their potential and they're all coached in the right way and they're all organised in the right way and they have the right set of tactics to take on Celtic. But we don't because we've got a shit manager. Right, this is my conspiracy theory. I'm going to finish with this conspiracy theory. Right, so Clement goes to the cup final on the 15th of December. Clement loses the cup final on the 15th of December, okay? Clement has lost to Celtic again. So that would mean that Clement's record against Celtic is absolutely shocking. He hasn't beaten them once. He's lost to them more than any other result against them. And he's looking shocking. He gets sacked before the January transfer window. Kevin Muscat, I think, is out of contract in December. Okay, we then go for Kevin Muscat in December because he would cost nothing to get out of his deal. Conspiracy theory. I mean, it's a massive conspiracy theory. It's up there with Roswell. It's up there with the Loch Ness Monster, right? It's up there with all of those things, okay? But is that a possibility? Could that be something Rangers are looking at? That we can't sack Clement now because we can't get Muscat now because we'll have to pay compensation for him. And we haven't got compensation. We haven't got the money to pay for him. But we wait till December when he's out of contract and then he can move for nothing. Interesting. Stuart says they play better as a team and for formation. Their players all suit Rodgers' style of play. Clement hasn't got a style of play to begin with. He's substitute. Yeah, I agree with all of that, Stuart. You are absolutely spot on, mate. Okay, okay, spot on. But if you gave controversial, you're probably going to hate me for this. If you gave those 11 players to Brendan Rodgers, he would do better with them. Guarantee it. If you gave those 11 players that I've just said to you, Butland, Sterling, Suter, Catanwejo, Kiefte, Barron, Hadji, Raskin, Bayrami, Danilo, and Tierney. Give those 11 players to Brendan Rodgers. He'll do better with them. Guarantee it. Because he will do what Stuart Allison says. Okay? He'll get a style of play. He'll organise them and have them play in a particular way. And that's what works. Fantastic. Mr. Fox says, I'd take Muscat as our new manager. He would get us a winning team. I agree with you. I think that's a great shout. He'd play fast, attacking, aggressive football. He'd be in their faces. I just think that his style of football would be more suited to Scottish football. That's what I honestly believe, that his style of football would be more suited to Scottish football. I think a lot of where Clement falls down for me is his style of football doesn't suit the Scottish game. And I think it looks okay in Europe because I do believe there's some element of that in there as well. Whereas I do think that the way that he plays, that Muscat plays, where he's got a high press, he's fast, he's aggressive, he gets players stuck in, he gets players going after people. I honestly believe that in that you've got a manager who would do better in Scotland than Philippe Clement. I do believe that is true. So Tunnocks is right. Tunnocks says, in this scenario, where are we in the league? What scenario are we talking about, mate? What scenario are we talking about? Let me know. Right, we're going to run a quick poll before we finish the podcast, just to finish off with start poll. My question to you now is, would you take Kevin Muscat as manager? Start poll. So that stuck into that poll for me. Get stuck into that poll. The results of the other poll, by the way, which was on a minute ago, 66% of you don't think that Rangers will sign. Why is that poll? Sorry, guys. I'm going to put that poll. I don't know why, but YouTube has just decided to cancel that poll. Would you take Kevin Muscat as Rangers Just if you already voted, if you're one of those 3 people that already voted, please vote again. I don't know what the hell happened there. Why YouTube decided to suddenly turn that poll off. Absolutely ridiculous. That's the poll back on. Muscat, Japanese league and signs 40 signings. Yeah, absolutely. Bye, Curry. Thanks for coming along. But obviously, we need to be trust him in signing. Yeah, true. Different style of football because the jersey defeat final scenario. I think that happens, mate. We go and we get in January. That's probably the best one. I don't know. I take Mary, the lady over Clement. That's funny, mate. That is funny. But I do think that Muscat's style of football might better suit Rangers. I think that is a possibility, a real strong possibility. I think that could be something that could be a possibility for January, but not until January. Like I said, he's not free until until December. So yeah, let's get your votes in. Get your votes in, obviously, on that poll. It'd be good to hear from you on that poll. Look, I mean, going forward, we need to start seeing signs of improvement, and like many of you said in the live chat, we do need a massive improvement. I've seen McInnes. Oh, Muscat McInnes. Great question. I 1872. I'm going to say Muscat because he more acceptable to the fan base, so they'll give him more of a chance. I think if McInnes comes in, he's going to have to do an awful lot of hard work very quickly to win the fan base over. Um, and I just think that, to be honest with you, the more aggressive attacking style of football on the deck will suit Rangers more under Muscat. That's my thinking. Janet says, yeah, good, thank you very much. No worries. If Clement can't beat Celtic, he deserves to be here. Agreed. So RC wants McInnes. If Clement doesn't wants to turn into a long ball team, by Shanklin, who can hold the ball up play. But it's like watching Steve Bruce or Big Sam hitting football. I agree with you. Anyone think if sacking Clement now is mad? The club doesn't have any money. Downside 2 windows into a 4 to 6 window project. Last title charge was down to how poor Celtic. I don't agree with that on one ball. I don't think that's that. I don't agree with that because if Clement was going to work, you would start to see some element of a style of play and a shape of play. I don't see any of that, so I don't. Oh, mate. And 4 to 6 windows, he doesn't survive 4 to 6 windows. If Clement loses the next 2 Old Firm games, okay, and this is an if Clement loses the next 2 Old Firm games, are the fans gonna survive? The answer to that is no, absolutely not. Stuart Allison says, "Are we really going to see Tav versus Maida again?" Yes, probably, mate. Probably. Well, if Clement doesn't start producing results against Celtic, he'll be out of a job. Correct, because the old adage is this, isn't it? Any Rangers manager that doesn't beat Celtic on a regular basis is no use. And odd one ball. What good has he done in the last 2 windows? Great shout, right? What has he done? I mean, he's not even using the players he's buying. I mean, we played 8 out of our last in our last game. 8, or was it the Aberdeen game? 8 of the 11 we played were here last season. What does that tell you about his signings? I don't agree, mate. Sorry, mate. Team-up style play is a massive one. He needs something like that. I think he does miss Seamer. Anyone would miss Seamer. Seamer's a quality footballer. If Seamer played for Celtic last season, they'd miss him. They'd miss him. He's brilliant, Seamer. The goals he scored in the Champions League. But it's not that. It's just not see style of play. Like I said, even without Seamer, you start to see a shape, a set of tactics, a style of play. You don't see any of that. You see turgid, awful, awful football. Awful football. Awful football. Right, guys, look, for an hour now, we've been talking for an hour. Thank you so much to everyone who came and joined in tonight. Thank you to everyone for their comments. It's been fantastic hearing from you, hearing your thoughts on my ramble on Rangers tonight. It's always difficult during the international break to kind of, not just ramble on about a lot of different things. Um, you know, so there we go. Sorry, Clement wasn't in charge in the last window. Gosling come on, said it. whatever. Mate, I don't agree with you. I just say I don't agree with you. Clement's got to go, and he's got to go now. Clement can't complain when it's his players as in, and he can't be those unwashed. It's as simple as that. Clement, like I said, the biggest thing I've got on war of him is the fact that he cannot. We do not see a style of play, a shape, a set of tactics, anything like that. If I was seeing that, even if we were losing, but I was starting to see how he wanted us to play and starting to see a style of football that actually worked, then I'd get behind him. I'd get behind him. Um, but I'm not seeing any of that. Odd One Ball says, "Would you rather?" Sorry, follow the money. Says Odd One Ball. Would you rather keep the clown got kicked out of Monaco for being clueless? Exactly. Already. Yeah, I mean, like, up to it. Like I said, if we were starting to see something on the park that was effective, that worked, showed a good style, then I'd buy into it. I'd be all up for it. I'd be it was possible I could about it. But seeing turgid, boring football where we don't pass the ball effectively, we don't have style of play, we're just awful. We can't break the low block down, we can't get around the sides, we can't get through the middle. We have one tactic and one tactic alone, which is to lump the ball up to a centre forward who can't hold the ball up, got pace to run in behind. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. One boss says another manager going last may as well wait and see to the season. I think you're right. We will. Look, I'll be honest with you. I think he. Look, if I was the chairman of the Rangers and he loses the cup finals on the 15th, on the 16th of December, I summon him to my office and I say, right, you are sacked. I don't want the football club anymore. Get out. Well, I think he will survive to the season's end with this present board, who are incompetent. With this present board, who are a shower of shit, he will stay to the end of the season. We will win nothing, and Celtic go three ahead of us. I think that's standard. Right, guys, thank you for watching tonight. Please smash the like, smash the sub, drop a comment, drop a share on the video. It's been a pleasure speaking to you as always here on the channel. Very soon here at the Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. Please obviously that. Fantastic. We have just become used to the mob over. I'm sick to fed up as yourself will get, but yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you for watching, guys. We're back again very soon here on the channel. It's been fantastic talking to you tonight, as always, guys. Try something. There we go. Guys, thank you so much. Remember always, never forget, we are the people.